Greetings to you. Thanks for joining us on the Tuesday edition of the show. It's the first one since the ouster of the Super Eagles from the African Cup of Nations. And we're here to do a complete post-mortem of what happened and also to talk about the ongoing African Cup of Nations. Thanks once again for joining us. I'm Yemi Adebayo.
It's always a delight to have you join us to talk sports. From the nation's capital, Abuja, I'm Austin Okonakman.
All right. Well, the pain is less, but the memory is still fresh. And we're doing this for the first time since the house star of the Super Eagles. I'm very sure Austin on Friday, both of us thought we'll be here talking about a victory for the Super Eagles, but alas, that's not the case. Let's pause our thoughts and, hold our breath a little and get into the AFCON segment and talk some more about everything that has been happening at the African Cup of Nations. All right. It's always hard to resist the temptation to talk about the Super Eagles, but maybe we'll leave that for the later part of the show. Our partners, when they join us, they can say one or two things. My tongue is tied, so we'll leave it to the other guys to do the honors. But first, Austin, let's talk about something that wasn't a bright spot that happened. Stampede in Olembe, killing about eight persons. That's been what everybody has been talking about. One of the not too good stories coming out of Cameroon, and it's really sad. CAF has been saying a lot of things about that incident. They're going to look at it, and as a result of that, matches will not be played in that particular stadium anymore. But it's really sad. People love football, and sometimes because of passion, people will go to any length to see a football game, especially if it's your country.
Yeah, and that's why we should keep talking about fans' education. When you go to the stadium, be orderly, don't cause trouble. And at the same time, this is a big question mark on stadium management with African football. Is also a big question mark on crowd control. When you put a competition of this, magnitude, you expect fans to want to show their passion. You expect fans to want to come out there to watch matches. So this is really sad. When I heard about it, I was like, oh my goodness, how are we going to handle this? Because I was praying that we don't get to see any disaster. Let it just be COVID-19, But when this happened and then we've lost 8 people, by the way, we pray for their souls to rest in peace. But the Confederation of African Football, I love the fact that they've said, look, nothing will happen at this stadium again. But there are no postponement of games because, everything has been scheduled. But, as I said, we need to do more in terms of managing our football. And we need proper reports. People need to be sincere. Say the real problems. Tell the world what happened so that we can find a way to, address it when next it happens, or even find ways to avoid it. So I just hope the Confederation of African Football and Cameroon, they will, look into the root cause of what really happened, because we have said it and we always reminded CAF that you said when Cameroon is playing, the stadium capacity shouldn't be more than 80%. And you said for other teams, 60%. And there's still COVID-19. So what is causing a stampede? And where was medical emergencies? A lot of question marks. And I just hope that we'll start understanding in Africa that it goes beyond just kicking football, scoring goals, and people getting happy, that these other things that also happens by the side should be taken care of so that we don't get to have this sort of disaster anymore.
Yeah, I'm very sure both of us would love to listen to the words of Patrice Motsepe. He had quite a few things to say.
I know that legally the LOC is responsible for the safety and the security, but we are their partners. And we have to make sure that the safety, and of course we've been focusing more on COVID-19 and the health of every single spectator is our primary concern. So there is zero tolerance, absolutely zero tolerance on circumstances which could result in people being injured at the stadium or people losing their lives. We have to take emergency and urgent steps now. So I have called a meeting tomorrow of the AFCON organizing committee, and I've also sought the guidance and advice of my vice presidents, whom I want to thank for being here with me. And the starting point is very clear. I need, and CAF needs, a report on what happened, what should have happened, the circumstances that led to people being injured, including those who lost their lives, urgent emergency steps and measures to make sure that that doesn't happen again. I went to Olembe Stadium to see exactly where it happened, and I've been given lots of feedback and had lots of discussions until very early this morning. And the first thing that I'm going to ask the organizing committee is, the next match that's supposed to take place at Olembe should not take place. And I spoke to the senior person in government, and it's correct, out of respect, they're our partners, to indicate that there must be an immediate, a committee that's set up to immediately investigate what happened. And in that context, to find out who was supposed to do what and who did not do and perform their responsibilities. We want that report by Friday. But as I said, the game that is scheduled for Olembe Stadium on Sunday is not going to take place. And as I said, out of respect to our partners and governments, it's going to take place at Amadou Ahidjo. So it's going to take place at Amadou Ahidjo.
All right. I'm tempted to say top marks for the CAF president. I mean, after his speech, there was nothing left. Nothing left. He addressed everything. Yeah. Yeah. Swift response. And I like the part that he said there should be a report, should be on our table on Friday. What should have happened? What did not happen? Who should be held responsible? He tried to make CAF share the blame, but some people will tell you more of it should go to the local organizing committee. But that's leadership for you. It's a CAF competition. Right. You can't distance yourself from what has happened. That's the right approach.
Totally, and it's not just asking for a report. Motsepe is asking for a comprehensive report, you know, and that's exactly what I said. He just reiterated it. Look, CAF is to blame, Cameroon is to blame, even the fans, you know, that were probably orderly before that stampede happened, also sharing the blame. And that's why I keep telling the media, we shouldn't stop our fans' education, particularly when you go to the stadium. You should have safety in mind. You should look out for the other fan. We shouldn't let passion, you know, override safety whenever we get to the match venues. And I want to blame CAF tonight because, I mean, they didn't tick their boxes. Before a game is played, you should make sure that that environment is good, not just for football, but for business. And if you listen to Patrice Motsepe, he's talking like a businessman because it's all about business. And if the environment isn't right, then you can't make football a business. And this is what we've been talking about in Africa, that we must create a football business environment. I've been to White Hart Lane, I've been to Old Trafford, I've been to the Emirates Stadium. I keep telling people the moment you get there, before you see the football, you will know that this place is built for business. And that's what we need to start doing with AFCON football. So wait for that report. Confederation of AFCON Football, they've said, look, we want to see that report, and it has to be comprehensive. So when we see that report, for me, I want us to avoid this sort of, you know, disaster. And that report can actually address it.
Yeah, that's it. All right, we're not going to be doing this alone, like I said earlier. Let me use this opportunity to bring in Kende Idris into the show. Came in a bit late, better late than never. Greetings to you, Kende. Thanks for finding that time to be with us on the show today.
It's good to be here. Tuesday night looks like a ritual to be here for heavy traffic. I had to be a little bit late. The topic on ground that you're treating has gotten a lot of attention. One of the things I couldn't scarf for, so many other times in this part of the world, we always live a vacuum of information. Now, it happened. Who is to speak to us? Media will now start scamping for information, and then sometimes you get information not from the reliable source, and then you just want to put something out there, at least a little bit close to the truth. But for CAF, they've come out, talk about blame or what not blame, what to do, what not to do, what next. They treated, he and his board treated the present, the past, the present, and also future, future happenings. Then, it happened that because of low turnout, the LOC opened the gate, opened the gate free for local fans to come in for the Cameroon game. And like Austin had just said, you're giving a free meal. One of the things you can do for yourself is to be orderly with the meal. You are told to come in free. Why not just take your time to move in one after the other? Everybody wants to get through this gate at once. Probably the gate can only take 10 people at once, and then about 60 wants to go in
at the
same time. You know what will happen. Then there is 60 more coming behind, another 60 behind. That will cause a lot of stampede. Yes, some people are to blame, but the blame portions all round. The LOC, the Cameroonian government, CAF itself, and also the fans. We should, all share in this blame, because it goes further to help our education and also the way we do things, going forward. The only thing the LOC...
I can also throw in the stadium management, because you have to be ready.
I guess the LOC should be that.
Yeah, okay,
yes,
well,
the LOC should be that.
So...
Because it's like saying good idea from the LOC, because they just want something picture good, video good, where you cover the AFCON, you're seeing
especially since the hosts
a lot of spaces, fans not turning out, and then we want to see how the outside world get to report the AFCON. So they felt, okay, if the home team cannot draw this kind of crowd, who will? So let's do it for the home team match.
All right.
And then we had that. But, it has happened. I love the fact that we want to hear a report. Let's hear a grounded report, and let's see where we are going from here. Rest in peace, all of those that lost their life. For those who are injured, wishing you the quickest of recoveries.
Yeah, there's nothing to hide. We'll pay our respects to the dead, and hopefully God will grant the families the fortitude to bear the loss. This is not the kind of situation a lot of people expected. But we have to move on. I'm going to pass the baton to Austin shortly. A lot of this happening. Some of the things that have grabbed the headline is the officiating. A lot of people are beginning to question the video assistant referee, the way it's used, and so many questions. But today, Senegal were able to manage, squeeze, playing against 9 men, and they were able to get through to the quarterfinal. Let's just quickly show you what happened today, and possibly also give you a situation report in the game currently going on. Morocco also in with a chance to advance to the next round. Let's do that quickly, then we'll share our thoughts. Maybe Austin agrees with me about the officiating. Maybe Kende Idris agrees. Hopefully someone else will join us as well as we take a look at all of those things. Right there, your screen, Senegal and Cape Verde, 2-0. Sadio Mane scored. Big scare for Liverpool fans because he had to be substituted in that game. A nasty clash with the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper gets a red.
Yep.
It wasn't an intentional foul.
It wasn't.
We could go on and on about the rules.
Yeah.
At this point, I don't understand the rules anymore.
Seriously.
I don't.
So many times during the competition, the goalpost is being shifted.
You
That
understand.
is what is happening with the rules. I can remember, even not just Africa, around the world, a whole lot of complaint. Today it's too soft. Tomorrow is the proximity.
It's too harsh.
Tomorrow is the level at which, where a whole lot. Let's just have a uniform rule.
And let's understand.
The way these punishments are being issued out.
Yes. And Morocco and Malawi, I mean, the Malawians giving a good account of them. So, but let's start with the Senegal game. Let's quickly go to Austin. Your thoughts as we try to moderate this. I have a lot of questions. I'm speaking as a fan, and I think I'm allowed to. I mean, I have no dog in this race. The Super Eagles are out, but you know, some calls. Sometimes you think you know football, but you see some calls, you just don't understand. You just don't understand.
And look, it will continue. That's the human angle to football. And I've told people that were thinking that with the coming of the video assistant referee, that everything would change. Discretion is still in the hands of the central referee. He goes to look at something that he couldn't see, and then at the end of the day, he goes, I think it's okay. Or he agrees with the machine and make a decision. Sometimes they don't even call for the VAR. For instance, it happened in the game between Nigeria and Tunisia. The foul, I think the handball. Go to the VAR, the ref set everything, go to the VAR to check that. You know, we've seen this. I was at a press conference when the video assistant referee was introduced at the 2018 FIFA World Cup. Pierluigi Collina, the referee chief, told us that, look, this doesn't eradicate all of the mistakes, but it will try to correct some of the mistakes. And you guys will agree to an extent. You see a call that video assistant referee will make, and you'll say, yes, that was a good call. 5 years ago, we didn't have that. When Lampard scored a goal at the World Cup, if there was a video assistant referee, they probably would have given that win to England, you know? So whether or not we like it, Yemi, Idris, the video assistant referee is here to stay. They will make mistakes, and as time continues, as time goes on, they will correct it. No matter what we say,
let me button.
What we say with the VAR.
Let me just. I don't have a problem with the VAR. I have a problem with the ref's interpretation. Yeah. Both of us are looking at something on screen. You have eyes, I have eyes. I'm seeing something, and the ref goes to what everybody sees clearly. And he interprets, I'm not judging, but the interpretation a bit off. I don't have a problem with the VAR.
Interpretation. Yeah, I get you. But don't forget, it's not just the center referee. He just has the power to make the final call. There are about 4 other guys who are telling him it was like this, it went this way, and he's listening to them. So sometimes if you check, he's not comfortable, and he says, okay, let me go get a look again. But again, we're humans. We make mistakes. So what I'm just trying to say is, there are times that the video assistant referee has worked, and there are other times where we go, what sort of call is this, you know? And I agree with you also that interpretation is everything, but this is a good development for football. We've seen terrible goals scored, and video assistant referee goes and say, hey, no, that's not a goal, you know, bring it back, you know? Or a player thinks that he's going to escape something, video assistant goes check it up, see what happened to Alex Iwobi, unfortunately, you know? If there was no video assistant referee, the referee would have probably just given him a yellow card as first offender, and he'll still be there, but he had to go look again. I was like, this was unnecessary. He wasn't even pressured, so why did he make that reckless challenge? And Alex Iwobi was sent off. So this conversation, Yemi, will continue. These debates will continue. Referees will continue to make mistakes, but they will go back and take the good, and then hopefully improve as we continue to make use of the video assistant referee.
All right. Kehinde Idris, we're about to go on a break, but I mean, it's only fair. Let's allow you to say something.
Yeah, I've had my reservations too. Not just the AFCON. I think we've complained about VAR. Some people will say VAR in England is different from the one in Italy, Spain, in Germany, and also in France, because in England, so many interpretations. Thank God Austin is right there in England, and he can tell a lot of talks.
He's in Abuja today.
A lot of talks, right there in England. But for the AFCON, I've seen a lot of calls, very fantastic ones, that the VAR had to, be the one to see that and get to implement that. For the wrong ones, like he has said, we'll continue to build on that. But where I have my issue is the fact that some look so obvious. Obvious, like first look, second look, and you have the chance to look and look and look.
And you still came up with the wrong.
and I don't understand. And if you think you understand a whole lot, you just need to watch one more game, and everything just, you know, models up in your head. And you just say, okay, referees, just hone it.
You know, sometimes I don't know if I still know the rules.
We don't.
I'm not sure. Also, I don't know if you still feel that way sometimes when you look at football. You try to ask yourself, do I still know the rules?
The rules are still the rules, yeah, but it's just that as human beings will always make mistakes. Let's just hope that these mistakes, you know, are minimal. And then a fan told me they should make mistakes to favor his team, you know. So fans will hope that you make mistakes that will favor their teams and they get on with it. But I think overall, the video assistant referee and its introduction has been good to football. The times that it has been good, let's celebrate it, and the times that we need them to improve, we will call for it. Sports Tonight on Channels Television. Let's go on this quick break. When we come back, we'll check out what Malawi is doing to Morocco. The underdogs are really fighting, and then we'll talk about what we should expect tomorrow. So don't go anywhere. Stay. Welcome back to Sports Tonight on your award-winning sports-loving Channels Television. We're talking about the 33rd edition of the Africa Cup of Nations. Sadly, Nigeria is out, but the show must go on. So we're taking a look at what went down today. Senegal, they had to do what they needed to do to advance at the competition. Cape Verde, a little bit unfortunate, but they fought with 9 men. At the end of the day, it was Senegal that won it by 2-0. Dieng and Mane with the goals. Let me go back to Kehinde Idris in Lagos before we take a look at tomorrow's fixtures. Kehinde, Senegal needed to do what they had to do, and they got it done.
Yeah. At this point, I think I said it last week on the show. When you get to the knockout rounds, nothing is forgiven. At the group stages, you can get to miss chances, lose a match, and you get forgiven by winning other 2. You can ask Egypt. They got to qualify after losing their first match. But in the knockout round, you don't get forgiven. You get to have a bad day or a bad game, and then you get beaten. Probably, if Nigeria is to play Tunisia again, maybe Nigeria might be taking the day. But the 90 minutes, you don't do what you need to do, or you don't get to, you know, keep your discipline. Like Alex Iwobi and others, you get punished. And the forgiveness, probably in another competition. But for this, at this level, no more forgiveness. You saw it with Comoros yesterday. Probably if Comoros had 11 men at the time they were making a comeback, maybe they would have even ruffled the feathers of, you know, Cameroon right there. But it is what it is. At the group stages, you do the needful. At the knockout stages, you do the needful. Not so much, especially with African football, of that, you know, special kind of setup football. You can display it a little, but doing the needful to get you past that level is what is most important. For Senegal, they had to do that. I was saying it while I was watching the game. This Senegal has not been special in this competition. They got to qualify by, you know, struggle. But they're already in the quarterfinals. And we might just sit here talking about them not being special. And they'll be in the finals.
That's what it is. That's football. So Senegal needed to beat Cape Verde today, and they did that. Malawi, they are fighting against Morocco, letting us know that, look, the small guys didn't come to play at this competition. So if you think you just push them away, no, you're going to have a serious fight. And that's what Comoros showed to Cameroon yesterday. Malawi scored first. Morocco had fight coming to. Let's see updates as regards that one. It's still 1-1. As at the last time we checked, but with football these days, when you blink, something is changing. So Cote d'Ivoire 2, Cape Verde 0, Malawi and Morocco still 1-1, and that game is live. Malawi will be hoping to push the Atlas Lions of Morocco all the way. Morocco favorite to win that one, but if you take a look at Malawi and what they did at the group stage, you don't just want to, you know, push them aside. Let's take a look at tomorrow's fixtures at the Africa Cup of Nations. Yeah, this one is huge. Cote d'Ivoire and Egypt. Wow. This can easily pass for a final, semi-final, and we're having it in the round of 16. While Mali will take on Equatorial Guinea. Yemi, I'm sure you're so looking forward to Cote d'Ivoire, Egypt.
I am. You said it could pass for a final. 12 years ago, this was the kind of finals we had, you know, at the height of Didier Drogba's powers and Ahmed Hassan for, you know, for ages. So this was the kind of finals But both teams have not really impressed us. Yeah. But we're saying this is a big game because of the pedigree of both teams. And we know they're going to give us a good game. And like Kehinde Idris says, at this stage, there's no hiding place.
No hiding.
You do what you have to do or else you're going home. Yeah. Simple as that. You do what you got to do. So, and the fans will be watching this with a very clear mind. Like I said, we have no dog in the race. The Super Eagles are out. So we just want to see good football. May the best side win. I'm thinking the physicality of the Ivorians might help them against the Egyptians, because most of the North African teams struggling with the weather, and it did affect Tunisia against Nigeria anyway. but some of them seem to be struggling with the weather, so that might just count in favor of the Ivorians. But I won't be as bold enough to say that this side will win. But I just think if I'm looking for something to edge this, I'll just say probably the physicality of the Ivorians might help them.
I think I will come back and I will let Kehinde Idris talk about this one, make a prediction. But Coach Patrice has been talking about this game between Côte d'Ivoire and Egypt. Let's listen to him. We'll be right back.
I'm quite happy about the performance that Ivory Coast has done so far. Finishing on top of the group stage was one of the targets. Going through to the next round was the main target as well. So congratulations to the boys, to all the staff. Now it's finished, it's behind, and we have to focus on what's coming through with a tough game against Egypt. The Pharaoh, I know them very well. It's a massive team with a lot of stars on the jersey and on the pitch. So we just have to continue our way and to play as a team. So far, je disais...
So that's it, Coach Patrice, Côte d'Ivoire head coach. And I agree with him. Teamwork can do it. That was what Tunisia had over the Super Eagles, and he did it for them. So the team that plays as a team show more hunger, desire, and maybe character might just go on to win, because that's a big context. Côte d'Ivoire taking on Egypt. Let's go back to Kehinde Idris. Kehinde Idris, this is a very tough one. Both teams, I'm sure they've packed, but which team do you think will get on the bus to go back home?
I think Egypt look like they might be going home. One of the reasons is that Côte d'Ivoire, after their first game, from the second game, they started looking like a proper challenger. Now, when I mean proper challenger, not like they were so sublime like the Super Eagles or like the Cameroonians, but they started showing that their energy, their class. We saw the likes of Frank Casey, stepping up. A whole lot of players in that fold starting to show, okay, we've got this class and all of that. And the second game was, way better than the first. The third game now underlined, okay, there is growth in this team. And I think against Egypt, they will go into full throttle. The likes of Zaha are yet to, just blossom into what we know them to do. And I think this is the game. And if there is any team or there is a part of Africa that would allow you play good football if you can, and you're very sensible with it, I'm sure it's the North Africans. They are not so physical. They depend on tactical play. So if you are very tactical, and like what Yemi said, you bring your tacticality with your physicality, it might just help you to edge the Egyptians. The Egyptians would only depend on their tactical ability, and I think the Côte d'Ivoirians have got that in numbers, loads of it. Then the physicality might just be, what will be the killer for them. I think Egypt look like they might just be going home. Egypt have also not been convincing, yet for me in the at the ongoing AFCON. So against the Ivorians, I do not see them hedging the Ivorians. I see the Ivorians pulling through and Egyptians going home.
Yeah, you're sitting close to Kehinde Idris. Maybe you need to warn him, because we've seen a lot of upsets at this competition. I feel Kehinde is just carried away with the way Côte d'Ivoire played against Algeria. But if you look at this Egyptian team, they've got some tactical discipline. And that's what I saw when Tunisia defeated the Super Eagles. That might just work for Egypt also.
It might. It might. I remember growing up and watching football. Some of the things I inherited from the generation before me, I inherited the fear of North Africans. My dad and his brothers have seen a lot of havoc the North Africans have done to the Super Eagles. I mean, they were the ones responsible for us not being to the World Cup before '94. On most cases, when we could have gotten to the World Cup, they were, partly responsible. So I respect them when it comes to tactics and all of that. So I'll be very careful. I'm very careful to say. I mean, look at what the Tunisians did. They were comfortable with us having the ball. I mean, they knew what they had to do, but I'm not sure the Egyptians can have that kind of measured approach. But we'll see. Football has taught us a lot of lessons. Let me just quickly say this, an update from what's currently going on. Morocco has just scored, so it's 2-1 now, Morocco and Malawi. So it appears we might not see the upset we thought. But 19 minutes of 18 now, 18 minutes of football still left to play, so we'll see what happens. But the Atlas Lions have recovered now. So initially they were a goal down, they equalized, they've scored now. So we'll see what happens, how far they can go. All right, we need to move on. A lot of ground still to cover. And so let's bring in our viewers into what we're doing on the show. Of course, you're an integral part of this show, and we love to read your comments. Send us a mail, get across to us on Twitter. Like Austin would say, Twitter is back, we're happy. So let's make it racy pacey. Send us your comments on Twitter at channels_sports. So you can send us a mail if that's your thing. sportstonight@channelstv.com. Send us a mail. We'll do our best to read it out live as the show is going on. So you have it right there on your screen. Austin is itching to go. I'm on standby as well. So as it comes in, we'll do our best during this AFCON segment to read whatever you're sending through to us. All right, so let's move on the show. The Super Eagles are out of the African Cup of Nations. Is no longer news, but the team was hosted by the sports minister, Sunday Dare, in Abuja. And of course, he conveyed the message of the federal government to the Super Eagles. It conveyed the message of football-loving Nigerians, how proud they are of the team. Of course, even though it didn't end the way we all wanted it to, but they show glimpses of the Super Eagles that we were all used to. And he told them, don't let your head go down. March is around the corner. You have to pick yourself up and live to fight another day. Let's quickly listen to the Minister of Youth and Sports, Sunday Dare, give a charge to the boys, speak about their performance at the AFCON, and we'll come back for more on Sports Tonight.
You brought back the fluidity, the excellence. You brought back the DNA of Nigerian football, which we felt we lost 6 years ago. You brought it back. You brought it alive. You must keep that alive. Every single player that went out there to play for us, every single player that was on the bench that formed the team that went to AFCON, this country is proud of you. On behalf of the federal government, on behalf of Mr. President, who has given us unblinking and consistent support, on behalf of a grateful nation, I want to thank each one of you for what you have done for our country and for what we know you're going to do. So, it's important to just keep looking forward. You pick yourself up and you move ahead. You made your point, you made your mark at the AFCON. What we have suffered is temporary. It is a new day for Nigerian football. It's a new day for this team, every player on this team, and let us get ready from now. Let's mentally and otherwise, let's get ready for March, because we're going to conquer in March, and we're going to go ahead to Qatar for the World Cup in November, by God's grace.
All right, welcome back. I know we're pressed for time, but each of us will say a thing or two so that we can quickly move on. I love the words coming out of the mouth of the sports minister. If that's the attitude, then I can safely say we're on the right track. If the things he's saying publicly are the things that everyone is saying behind the scenes, so guys, forget this, let's move on, then we're in safe hands and there won't be any carryover of any sort. But also, let's get your thoughts on this one as well. Kehinde is the analyst. He will be able to tell us his views on Eguavoen, whether he should continue. That's a question out there. I'm not going to answer. You're not going to answer. We'll leave Kehinde to do that. But, I mean, the comments of the sports minister, in my opinion, that's the way to go.
Yeah, I think he said the right things. His speech was reassuring. His speech was that of support, hope. His speech was that of if you fall, don't stay down. You know, get up. There's still, you know, a crucial assignment in front of you. Match is already here. So he said the right things, and it was important for him to do that sort of talk because the players are hurting, the technical crew, they're also hurting. They knew that the country was vibing again, were expectant, and then for them to crash out the way they did in the round of 16. They need those pats on the back to say, well done, you tried, this thing happened, it's football, you know. So kudos to the sports minister and his team. Let's just hope that they will continue to give this sort of support because whether or not Eguavoen continues on the job, he's going back to his role as technical director, and that's a very sensitive role. That's a role that's got development at the center. So with this experience from the Africa Cup of Nations, we can still make good use of him. So the NFF, the Ministry of Youth and Sports Development, and if Jose Pesero is coming in, they must get to work now. You know, right after that launch of dinner, they should start talking to themselves and say, up next is Ghana. And what Ghana football is going through, they're going through a lot of restructuring. They've been reconstituting boards. It means that they want to do all they can to be at the World Cup. And we must start working right now.
All right. Kehinde, you have to make it fast. We have a lot of ground to cover.
Yeah. Number one, thumbs up to the minister and his board or his team. There comes a time where we lose AFCON, an AFCON match, and the team, everybody just do not go to their various clubs. You find everybody assembling before they now disperse. In some time past, everybody from Cameroon, you just go to everybody your various places, and then you start talking about the qualifier much later, which is a very fantastic one. And the way he played the fatherly role, yes, your child won't go out every day and win every day. There will be times where there is stumble. How do you help them through that phase? Especially we have a very young team. The team is so young. We're talking experience here and there. This is another experience for these boys. They've gathered it and they will move on to the next one. Probably you might say the AFCON did not go well and the experience gathered at the AFCON will now pay off at the World Cup, which is a bigger stage. So well done to the team. And you mentioned something that is getting, you know, everybody's attention. Austin Eguavoen, the man has come out and said, I'm going back to my role as technical director. But if I am saddled with the responsibility to either keep or leave Augustine Eguavoen, I will say keep him. Because I love the fact that I brought back the identity. Now let's build on what he had done.
All right.
And I think that's where I stand.
All right. So Kehinde Idris' words, not mine. Leave the man on the job. All right, so situation report from the game currently going on Morocco and Malawi, 80 minutes of football played, and it is 2-1. If it ends this way, the Atlas Lions are through to, it's 2-1. So the Atlas Lions are through to the next round if it ends this way. All right, so let's leave it at that. Let's wrap it up on the AFCON segment. We'll take a breather and come back to talk some more on the other interesting things happening in your fast-paced, money-spinning world of sports. All right, let's come home now and talk about the ladies. I'm going to run through the fixtures. I want to spend the remaining minutes we have left on the show to talk about what happened in the city down under, the first Grand Slam of the year. But first, let's take this one out of the way. Let's take a look at our ladies' match day 7 fixtures in the Nigerian Women's Football League. In Group A, Adamawa Queens will take on Pelican Stars. Nigeria Rattles will take on Nazwa Amazons. Edo Queens will take on Oshun Babes. In Group B, we have Delta Queens up against Royal Queens. Sunshine Queens will try Abia Queens for size. Bioso Queens will be up against Rivers Angels. So interesting matches to look forward to in the Nigeria Women's Football League. 6 matches in Group A and in Group B. That's a good place to leave it. Ken Idris, I want to thank you for your time.
It's always good to be
on the show. We'll take our conversation out of the studio as we always do, because it never ends. Thank you very much. All right, so that's the show today. We do hope that you enjoyed everything we've been able to do. We're going to be back here again tomorrow, taking you on a trip across the money-spinning world of sports. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Bye-bye now.
It's 90th minute in that game between Morocco and Malawi. Ashraf Hakimi's goal still makes the difference. Can the Atlas Lions of Morocco go all the way? I don't know. We'll come back, talk about it. From the nation's capital in Abuja, Mostin Okonakwan, in everything you do, remember, keep talking sports. Bye for now.